Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into the merits of the Clarity Act and our market structure legislation, I just have to first address this red herring that my Democratic colleagues continue to push, this carelessly thrown out accusation and this baseless politically motivated attack against President Trump, that his support somehow for a regulatory framework for digital asset market structure is somehow corrupt, that he's personally profiting from our agenda to bring clarity to the stablecoin and market structure of digital assets. This is absurd, and they know it. They know that the president's assets are in a blind trust managed by his children who are not members of the administration. They're not in the government, they're in the private sector. When they throw these things out carelessly, these attacks, these personal partisan attacks against the president, it's not just Trump derangement syndrome. It's about them opposing American leadership in crypto. It's about them opposing making the United States the world's crypto capital. It's about them so obsessed with their political hatred for the president that they're willing to sacrifice American leadership in the innovative technologies of the future. They don't like that under President Trump, Bitcoin is at an all-time high. They don't like it. They don't like that he is an innovative, successful capitalist who understands that if America is to lead, we need this agenda. They don't like that. And they don't want him to succeed. And that's why they oppose this bill. Now, fortunately, we have some bipartisan support for this bill. And it should be, because it shouldn't be about politics. It should be about what is right to bring clarity to the marketplace here and to embrace this kind of efficiency and friction-reducing disintermediation through DeFi. That's what we should be focused on. And so let me just move on to the merits of the bill. So highly regulated institutions like banks have an important role to play in the digital asset market, providing scale for wider market adoption and bringing their risk management and financial resilience to bear as the market evolves. But under the U.S. capital framework, banks are not able to recognize risk-reducing benefits of positions that naturally offset each other. This drives up the cost of hedging and risk management and creates a competitive disadvantage for U.S. banks. Mr. Benham, do you agree that we should review our approach in U.S. capital rules to make sure we're not disincentivizing risk-reducing behavior and the use of bank intermediaries?
Yeah, Congressman, thanks for the question. I do think, and obviously it depends on the asset, the underlying asset, right? And Mr. Lucas mentioned this earlier, if you're talking about Treasury cash markets and Treasury futures markets, there is a clear symmetry between those two assets. And I do think it is important for regulators to create incentives in terms of cost of capital so that you can have more participants, more liquidity in the market. A lot of that review is based on history of the volatility of the asset. So generally speaking, I support it, but caution against making sure that we're doing the right analysis from a regulatory perspective to ensure that the history dictates what the future may hold.
I think banks do bring risk management and financial resilience to bear, and they need to be allowed to participate in this evolving innovation. Mr. Roisman, question for you on custody. Whether through SAB 121 or joint statements, the previous administration effectively prevented banks from engaging in the digital asset ecosystem. And while the regulators have taken several positive steps to remedy this approach under the Trump administration, the Clarity Act, I think, is very important because there are provisions in the bill that will cement banks' ability to responsibly engage with the technology in statute. Can you outline some of these provisions and describe the practical effect that they will have?
Thank you for the question. I would say I'd have to look back at the legislation and get back to you, but I think it is important for Congress to weigh in on this because, to your point earlier, they're a critical part of any sort of infrastructure, and the rules shouldn't be set in place to prevent people from participating in this marketplace.
Well, I applaud the chairman for his extraordinary leadership on this. Also, I want to thank our colleagues in the Agriculture Committee for contributing on the commodity definition piece, and I fully support this legislation to bring much needed clarity. Don't be distracted by the politics on the other side. This is important, and thank goodness we do have a president who wants to bring leadership to the United States on crypto. Thank you.
Wow.
Go back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from California, Mr. Vargas.